In a first, the CEO of Apple testified in a groundbreaking court case. Tim Cook was in federal court in California defending charges that his company's App Store is an unfair monopoly. As CBS News technology reporter Dan Patterson tells us, the tech giant is squaring off against the maker of a popular video game.
Today, we're diving into a pretty fascinating topic that touches on some major players in the tech world: Roblox, Apple, and the ongoing battle for control over the future of digital platforms. Now, when most people think of Roblox, they think of a game, but it is also a massive platform with user-generated content, a thriving economy, and millions of active users. But even though Roblox is growing like crazy, its relationship with Apple and the App Store is a bit more complicated than you might think. So grab some popcorn, because today we're going deep into how Roblox operates, why it's still on the App Store despite the odds, and what all of this means for the future of digital worlds. Let's start by understanding Roblox at its core. Most of us think of it as a game, but that's not really the right way to look at it. Roblox is a platform, and what makes it so unique is that it lets users create their own virtual worlds and experiences, share them with others, and even make money from their creations. In fact, Roblox operates something close to an unlimited number of user-generated worlds. These worlds are accessible and integrated across all platforms, whether you're on a phone, a console, or a PC. Roblox isn't just about playing, it's about building, sharing, and exchanging ideas in a digital universe. This massive user-driven platform is also supported by a sophisticated identity and payment system, and the platform keeps growing thanks to its economy of creation, trading, and scarcity, where users can buy, sell, and even create in-game items. It's the perfect storm for developers and players alike. Roblox is valued at more than $30 billion and boasts over 150 million monthly users. That's a huge user base, right? But here's the thing, no one really knows how Roblox got on the App Store to begin with. Given Apple's control over its ecosystem, it's kind of mind-blowing that Roblox hasn't been kicked off, or that its success isn't somehow being stifled by Apple's policies. Now let's talk about Apple's role in all of this. Apple's App Store is the gateway to millions of apps, but it also comes with a lot of rules, and some of them make life really difficult for platforms like Roblox. Roblox itself highlights the App Store policies as one of its top risk factors. In fact, they've explicitly mentioned that Apple and other mobile platforms have the power to control whether Roblox stays on their platforms or not. In their own words, Apple and other platform owners have approval authority over our platform's deployment and can change the terms of service at will. This means that Apple can potentially limit or even discontinue Roblox's access to the App Store if they decide Roblox isn't complying with their guidelines. And these guidelines can be a bit murky. They cover everything from data collection to privacy practices, business models, advertising, and content moderation. Roblox could unknowingly run afoul of these policies, which would put its future on the App Store in jeopardy. Sounds pretty alarmist, right? But when you look at Apple's recent moves, like their decision to deprecate IDFA, which cost Facebook and Google billions in 2021, it's clear Apple isn't afraid to make bold moves that impact even the biggest tech companies in the world. If Apple can do that to Facebook and Google, imagine what could happen to Roblox, especially considering its heavy reliance on iOS as a platform for revenue. Now let's talk about money. Roblox makes billions in revenue, $2 billion in 2020 alone. But here's the problem. Most of the developers who create content for Roblox aren't seeing much of that revenue. Despite Roblox's massive user base, a shockingly small number of developers are actually making significant money. In 2020, only 29 developers earned more than $1 million, and just 3 developers earned over $10 million. Given that these creators are responsible for most of the content on Roblox, that's a major issue. Why is this happening? Well, Roblox only pays developers 24.5% of the revenue generated from their games, items, or assets. When you compare this to Apple's 70 to 85% cut for app developers, it's clear that Roblox's payment model is far less generous to its creators. Let's break this down with an example. Imagine you spend $100 on Roblox through iOS. Apple takes its 30% cut right off the top, so now Roblox is working with $70. But then Roblox takes its share, which is another $31 to cover things like infrastructure and safety costs. They also have overhead, which eats up another $11. This leaves just $28 in total to reinvest back into the platform. What does Roblox do with that remaining $28? They spend it on 3 things: research and development, R&D, user acquisition, and, of course, paying developers. But even with all that reinvestment, Roblox is operating at a roughly minus 25% margin. That means for every $100 Roblox generates, they lose $25. Developers get $24.50, but when you factor in their development costs, they're not making much either. Meanwhile, Apple is pocketing $30 without doing much of anything. So if Roblox wants to pay developers more, it either has to lose more money or stop investing in R&D and growth, which would hurt the platform in the long run. Now, this brings us to the heart of the issue: Apple's philosophy about digital platforms. Apple has always had a pretty monopolistic stance when it comes to controlling its ecosystem. The company wants to ensure that all products created on its platform, whether they're apps, games, or digital worlds, stay within that ecosystem. It's all about control. This is why Apple has been so aggressive in preventing services like Google Stadia and Microsoft's xCloud from operating on iOS. These services would allow users to play games across different devices, not just Apple's. But Apple's stance is clear. They don't want any third-party platform getting in the way of their revenue from the App Store. And it's not just about gaming. Apple's stance extends to anything that could create a digital ecosystem outside of their control. Take Roblox, for example. Roblox could be seen as a platform within a platform, but since it doesn't fit neatly into Apple's idea of what an app should be, its place on the App Store is precarious at best. Apple's position is rooted in a belief that cross-platform development, like the kind seen in tools like Unity or Unreal Engine, is bad for the ecosystem. Steve Jobs' famous 2010 memo on Flash really sums up this mindset. Jobs argued that Apple wanted developers to build the best iOS apps, not apps that could run across platforms. According to Jobs, using third-party tools like Flash could result in subpar apps that didn't take full advantage of Apple's platform innovations. Fast forward to today, and Apple's position still impacts platforms like Roblox. Developers can use Roblox Studio to create games from multiple devices, but Apple doesn't like platforms that allow developers to bypass the App Store and iOS-specific tools. This creates friction between what Roblox wants to do and what Apple is willing to allow. So what does all of this mean for the future of digital platforms? It seems like Apple is doing everything it can to make sure developers are tied to its ecosystem. But Roblox and other platforms like Fortnite are showing that there's another way to do things. One where developers can build connected, cross-platform worlds that aren't restricted by Apple's walled garden. The question is, will Apple's control over its platform stifle innovation, or will it be the driving force behind a more streamlined, user-friendly experience? We're at a crossroads. Roblox is helping to build a more open digital ecosystem, where players and creators aren't restricted by one company's rules. But Apple, on the other hand, is pushing for more control, trying to ensure that everything, whether it's games, virtual worlds, or social interactions, happens within the confines of its ecosystem. It's a tricky balancing act, and in many ways, it's a battle over what the future of the digital world will look like. Will we continue to see more open, interconnected platforms, or will Apple's vision of a closed digital world become the norm? So there you have it. Roblox, Apple, and the ever-evolving digital landscape. Roblox is redefining how we think about gaming, creation, and virtual worlds, but its relationship with Apple's App Store is a big question mark. And as we move toward a more interconnected digital future, the policies that control platforms like Roblox will be more important than ever. What do you think? Will Apple's control over its ecosystem continue to stifle platforms like Roblox, or do you think we'll see more open digital worlds? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Let's discuss. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more content on tech, digital platforms, and the future of gaming. Catch you in the next one.